These two rock climbers from St. John's are heading down to Yosemite National Park to embark on a massive climbing adventure, heading to the top of El Capitan. Now, it takes a lot of hard work to get there. If this is something that you didn't know about, let me tell you.
Starting rock climbing, you tend to watch videos and all that kind of stuff, and I learned about El Cap relatively early on, and the El Cap is sort of like the big monolith, the idea of doing a big wall. Big wall means you take more than one day to climb the whole thing, and that just seemed to be the pinnacle of climbing for me. So I've always wanted to do that sort of style, but I've never really found a partner to be able to do it with.
This is peak adventure. Like, I want to be on one of those walls. I want to be sleeping on that ledge. I want to be just like not on the ground for days at a time. That sounds so much fun.
Glad I chose a 10C to climb.
They've both dreamed of this for years. El Capitan, an epic climb that takes peak preparation and training.
So we started trending towards it about 2 years ago. In this past year or so, we've been focused, basically 100% of our time has been heading towards this goal of training towards it, learning all the systems, buying all the gear that you've seen so far. The idea of it, probably almost 20 years long, but actually completely focused on it for the past year.
Trevor Harris and Thatcher Flynn have taken different routes to get here.
We both had similar goals in that way. We were like, okay, we want to dial our systems. We want to get really quick. We want to get really efficient. So we were like working on that. And then we're like, well, yeah, let's do something bigger. And Yosemite is just like the place you go when you want to do something crazy and big.
Harris, an engineer, yoga instructor, and climbing coach, has been a part of the sport since 2006. Flynn, born and raised in Colorado, but with deep Newfoundland roots, started about 6 years ago when she moved to St. John's. The pair met climbing, and their friendship flourished.
Me and Thatcher have similar climbing abilities, but opposite skills. So Thatcher likes really big, burly type stuff, and I kind of like the balancy, technical type of climbing. So depending on what the pitch is going to be like, either I'll send Thatcher up or I'll go and try it myself. We also approach things a little bit differently, whereas I tend to be a little bit more nervous before climbing, where Thatcher has that stoke to like, let's go and let's go do it. And then on the wall, Thatcher tends to be a little bit more nervous, and I'm kind of sort of calmed down a little bit. So it's excellent that we have completely complementary skills that kind of meshes in really perfectly well.
September will see the two conquer El Capitan in California. But before they go, prep work at two training grounds, at the Cove Bouldering and Cafe, where they work.
So this place has been absolutely instrumental for us. Daniel, who was one of the owners here, made a training program for me and Thatcher, and we followed that through all the way. We started in October, and all the way basically until the ice melted, we could head outside. So this place has been critical in the wintertime for us.
The training we do here is all about strength, really. What we were doing at Flat Rock is all rope systems and technical stuff, whereas here we're like getting strong, more so physically than like mentally or technically.
And outside, where there's more gear to test and more technical difficulty.
I'm very excited, but I am actually extremely nervous. There is so many more systems to big wall climbing than what Trevor and I have ever done on like multi-pitch climbing. We've been doing a course online about big wall climbing. So we know everything that we have to do, but there's so much we have to practice before we go.
This will be their living quarters on their greatest climb yet, precariously suspended on a tiny platform sky high above Yosemite National Park for about 5 days.
So it's called a porta ledge. It's slightly bigger than a one-person size tent. So it's comfortable that we can both lay down, but we actually have to lay side so your heads are in opposite directions because, humans are kind of like triangular shaped. So it's done that way so that you can have a little bit more room. So my head is next to their feet sort of thing.
It's 19 pitches. So if we are able to do like 4 pitches a day, which is not that many, then we'll be able to have like a chill time, no stress, like have a relaxing evening, relaxing morning with coffee and like warm breakfast and stuff. So probably 5 days on the wall, 4 nights.
It's been a long road to get here. Planning, practicing, preparing for whatever might come their way. It's been hard, grueling, and they already feel on top of the world.
This has probably been the best year of my life, quite frankly. I've gone to the gym 5 times a week with my best friend. In a lot of ways, I feel like I've already sort of won. Climbing this thing would be an absolute, cherry on top. But in a lot of ways, I feel like, yeah, we've already won a little bit. So watching us both become better versions of ourselves has been an absolute treat, yeah.
I'm not someone who like cries at things emotionally, happily, but I think I might cry. Yeah, I just like, I can't believe we're doing it.
Truly an example of finding joy in a journey rooted in hard work, friendship, and epic adventure. It's all about to make the view from the summit all the more sweet. Jeremy Eaton, CBC News, Flat Rock.
So I'm on belay.
You were on belay.
This is my first piece. Going up. Wish me luck.
Have fun, bud.
Thanks. We didn't make it to the top. We got halfway and we ran out of water. It was really, really hot. It was 30 degrees every day in the hot sun. A bunch of things kind of made it so we had to come down early, but mostly it was that we ran out of water.
I was the one who went to the halfway point and had to come back down because we slept about 50 meters below that high point. And then me and Thatcher locked eyes as soon as we saw each other. We were like, that's pretty much it. We took about 100 pounds of water. At the end of every night, we were already diving into the water for the next day. So the writing was a little bit on the wall, but we continued on until it was the right decision to turn around and come back down. Continuing on at that point in time would have been a little bit reckless.
So I think we might have to bail.
It was kind of obvious from day one that it was a possibility, and in retrospect, we should have went down then, but actually realizing it and being like, okay, no, we actually have ran out of time in terms of water was really hard. It was really hard in the moment, but afterwards, once we were like, yes, we're bailing, it was like a pretty easy choice. And after that initial moment of being a little bit devastated, we were like, okay, this is great. We've learned so much.
It was probably about 2 hours or so that we were feeling kind of sad about it. And then we kind of flipped the switch and be like, okay, all right, what went well? What can we do better next time? And there's a couple of lessons that we learned along the way. And that's the whole point of this. We're actually going to get a bigger bag next time. We're also going to go a little bit later in the year, in October, so it's a little bit cooler. Us Newfoundlanders are not used to the California heat, so it was 30 degrees every day, which is a little bit taxing for us. But I think the biggest thing that we need to bring is confidence. We're better than I think we are. Our training absolutely worked. We were doing about 2 hours per pitch, which is actually a pretty decent pace.
Yeah, I don't think it was a failure. I mean, of course, we didn't get to the top, but we learned so much and we have grown so much as a climbing partnership. We know each other so much better.
Oh, yeah.
When you're on a wall with someone for 4 days, you can't hide anything. If you're having a bad moment, as the climbing partner, if Trevor's in a rough state, I have to be in support mode. I have to sit with his feelings. We talk about our feelings. We're really good at talking about our feelings and processing stuff. And we were good at that before, but being in a situation where you only have each other for 4 days, you're on the side of a cliff, the only thing you're thinking about is going up and your resources. Yeah, you get really intimate with each other.
It's almost like you just shed all your layers and you're the most raw you can possibly be in front of somebody, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't even a conversation. We
Yeah.
weren't like, oh, should we come back and try again? It was just
It was like next time when we come back.
yeah, we were
Yeah.
like, okay, we're leaving, we're bailing, we're going down. Next time, this is what we'll do. Next year, we'll do this. Next year, we'll come in October. Next year, we'll bring a bigger bag. Next year, we'll have more confidence. Next year, we'll have our systems more dialed. And it was just always like, okay, well, next year we're coming, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever had a conversation.
No,
should we come back?
Should we come? Yeah,
We just
absolutely, we're coming back.
both of
yeah.
us were immediately like, we're coming back, obviously.
Totally.
We have to.